What's the worst job you've ever had? I worked in a factory where we made wooden pallets. The job itself wasn't so bad, but the working conditions were terrible. It was hot, dirty, and dangerous, and we were always understaffed. I saw people get hurt on the job all the time, and management didn't seem to care. It was a real eye-opener for me, and it made me appreciate the importance of workplace safety and employee rights. I used to work at a call center for a cable company. It was soul-sucking. You were constantly yelled at by customers, and the metrics they used to judge your performance were ridiculous. You had to keep your calls under a certain length, but also try to upsell the customer on additional services. It was a lose-lose situation. The only redeeming part of the job was the coworkers I had, who were all in the same boat as me. I worked at a fast food restaurant in high school. The job itself wasn't so bad, but the customers were terrible. They would complain about everything, and sometimes even throw food at us. One time, a customer threatened to shoot me because we were out of chicken nuggets. It was a wake-up call for me about the kind of abuse that people in the service industry have to put up with. I used to work for a telemarketing company that sold vacation packages. It was a scam, and we were encouraged to lie to customers to get them to buy. I felt terrible about it, but I needed the job at the time. One day, I just couldn't take it anymore and quit on the spot. It was a real low point for me, but it also taught me the importance of standing up for what's right, even if it means sacrificing your job. I worked as a janitor in a hospital. It was a tough job, but what really got to me was the smell. The hospital had a lot of patients with infections, and the smell of sickness was everywhere. I would come home every night smelling like death. It gave me a new appreciation for the work that janitors do, and the importance of maintaining a clean and healthy environment. I worked at a call center for a major credit card company, doing collections. I felt like the biggest piece of every day. It's not that people don't want to pay their bills, it's just that they can't. People who don't understand the industry think they're all deadbeats, and it's just not true. You don't know someone's story until you hear it. And man, did I hear some stories. Some people really struggle, and it's heartbreaking. I was a professional organist for a funeral home. It was a very dark time in my life. Playing for a grieving family is one thing, but sometimes they would request music that was so painfully sad, and I would get lost in my own thoughts and have to excuse myself afterward to have a cry. There was one time when a woman requested My Heart Will Go On for her infant son's funeral. I couldn't even look at her when she came up to thank me after the service. I worked at a call center for a company that sells cheap, overpriced jewelry. It was soul-sucking work. The customers were often elderly or low income, and they didn't understand that they were being taken advantage of. We had to use high-pressure sales tactics to get them to buy more jewelry they couldn't afford. The company made a fortune off of people who couldn't afford it, and it made me sick to be a part of it. I worked at a chicken processing plant for a summer. It was hot, dirty, and the work was grueling. I was on the production line, deboning chicken all day. The smell was nauseating, and my hands would ache so badly by the end of the day that I couldn't even make a fist. I have so much respect for the people who do that job day in and day out. I was a teacher at a for-profit college. It was a scam, plain and simple. The students were being charged exorbitant amounts of money for degrees that were worthless. I was expected to pass everyone, regardless of whether they had learned anything or not. The administration was more concerned with getting butts in seats than with actually providing a quality education. I quit after one semester and went back to public school teaching.